Put a little zap in it, right? Oh, let me start from the beginning. Good morning and welcome home. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living and Unity. And I am Reverend Linda Fisher, the spiritual director, in case you don't know. So I am the sort of person that kind of gets you all inspired on Sunday and gives you a little message that you can take home. So my talk today is about what mask are you wearing? And I chose that because Halloween is right around the corner. But more than that, it's like, what costumes do we choose when we're going to a costume party? What costume did you wear as a little, as a child? Was it something like Star Wars, or was it something like Big Bear, or was it Princess, or was it a fighter, like up in Star Wars? I don't know why Star Wars is jumping out, but that just seems to be. And I can remember as a child growing up, I wore different masks. I wore the mask of love, and hey, you're just a sweet kid. And then behind it, I'd be, I'm going to poke him in the nose. I'm going to get him. I'm going to pull his hair. And it's a way of, when we look back on our childhood, what mask did we wear? Did we wear the mask of the child that was always loving and kind and sweet, and we always knew that Auntie always had candy in her pocket, so we'd always be really special, nice to her because she had candy? Or did we wear the mask of not enough? I'm not good enough. I'm not loving enough. I don't belong here. These aren't my parents. I must belong someplace else. I have to be up with the queen and the king and in the castle and have maids and servants to wait on me. Or am I that person on the street that has no family, but I'm a wanderer and I can go wherever I want and I can travel the world? What imagination did you have as a child? And only you can answer that. But when we think back on our childhood, it's our parents after generation, generation, generation. And as history goes, how our parents treated us is how their parents treated them. So when we look at that, we can't blame our parents if we had little issues in our lives, right? Because they didn't know any better. That's the way they were taught. So they taught us. And when we look at that today as adults, we can look back and we can say, gee, we had a choice. We had a choice to make in our lives. We had a choice to say, yes, life was good. They did the best that they could. And I know who I am today. I'm loving, I'm kind, I'm creative, I'm a singer, I'm a dancer, I'm a teacher, I'm a poet, I'm a philosopher. Whoever you are and have turned out to be today, it's because of those parents. So when we look back on life and all the masks that we wore and the layers and layers and layers of masks, the good girl, the bad boy, the bad girl, the good boy, when we look at all of that, we have the option to take those masks off, right? So when I look back on my childhood, last week I shared a little bit about my life and things that I had experienced as a child and how it impacted my life to who I am today. But more than anything, what I learned is the power of self-esteem. The power of self-esteem. And when I say that, it's who you are today. You have a choice. You have a choice to come to church on Sunday or stay home in your jammies. You have a choice to go shopping at Macy's or go shopping down at the Goodwill. You have choices in life. And when we know we have choices, we make better decisions, right? Now I know I've shopped at Goodwill and I've gone out with some really fabulous things. And I have also gone shopping in somebody else's closet and I got a little new outfit. So it depends on where you shop. And it depends on what choices you make. And they're all good. It's what we think about the choices as how it impacts our life, right? We can say, you know what? Mary Sue didn't like me. And I did everything I could that she would like me. But she never did. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay. Because at the time, maybe she was jealous of me because I was the prettiest girl in school. Or maybe she was jealous because I was smarter than her. Or maybe she was just jealous because I was different. See how the different things can impact your life? Now, that doesn't say who I am. That doesn't say what people think of me, because I know who I am. I know who I am today. And when I was going to school, I wore those different masks. I wore the mask of feeling rejection. I wore the mask of never feeling that I was enough. But you know what? When I look back on that today, I think, boy, that made me a strong person. Boy, that made me independent. So, you know, you can take a situation that maybe isn't so good, but you can bring it into a positiveness. Because it's all in how we think about things. It's all how we take them into our own imagination, into our own being, and looking at it and saying, I have a choice. Let me balance the scale. Let me see where I fit most of all. Because we're all very intelligent. We're all very talented. We have music today because they have a passion to sing. So when you look at things, it's how it impacts our life. What mask are we wearing? What mask are we telling ourselves? Do we tell ourselves that we are loved, kind, beautiful, magnificent, intelligent? Or do we tell ourselves, I don't like myself today. I don't feel good today. Are we hanging on to old memories that stop us from growing? Only you can answer that, not me. You know, we all have a story built within us. We all have a book waiting to be written, and only you can write that book. When I look back on my childhood, I wish I had recorded all the stories my grandfather told me about Ponte Villa, World War I, World War II. That's history. And so many times I think about that, but who had a recorder in those days? There wasn't somebody there to say, gee, you should write those memoirs down that you could share with history. And all I have is plaques, and I have the whole thing of 102 first platoons signed by President Roosevelt. Now someday somebody may want that. I said to my kids, do you want that? Oh no, Ma, that's just old stuff. And I went, old stuff. To me, that's history. But that's okay. To me, that's okay. You know, we as children, we carry many layers. We carry the layers of as teenagers maybe saying to the family, you wear the mask of, I'm sorry, I'll try harder. You're the boss, not me. Or I'm the boss of my own life. I think back of some of the things I used to say to my grandparents, and I think, oh my God, they should have put me in a cage, you know, because I was so, I had that, you know, quick response when they would say something to me, and I think, oh my God, I wasn't such a great little kid, I was bad. But I can look at that and I can laugh at myself, but that was the mask that I wore because I was surviving. When I used to go to school as a little girl, I can remember going into the school and just be in such fear, and so I had the mask of fear on because I didn't want the teacher to call on me because I would mispronounce things, and I didn't want to go into the corner with the dunce hat on. Because those are the things that they did in those days. Or having the ruler where she'd slap my hand, put out your hand, and she would slap it. And I think today, thank God the teachers are different today. But you know, when I look back, it's okay. That's just who they were. They were just trying to make a better student of the individual they were disciplining. So when I look at that, I look at it with thanksgiving. And I'm thankful for those wise teachers that saw something in me that I didn't see in myself and pushed me out of my comfort zone, more or less, when I look back on them. But you know, it's the mask that we look at. We can take those masks off every day. Oh, I'm done with that. I'm done with psychology. I'm done with the music. I'm done with this. I'm done with the bad thoughts. I'm done with what I went through as a child. Because when we can say we're done, we step into our greatness. But only you can do that. Only you can be the one that said life was pretty good. Maybe it wasn't the greatest. Maybe I didn't live in the castle with kings and queens. But I had some wise, wise people in my life. And I'll talk about that more later. I had 6 aunts, and each one gave me a gift that molded me to who I am today. And I am so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for so many things in my life. And when we can look back on life and be grateful for the little simple things, phew, makes this world a lot better place to live in. You know, we go through challenges. We go through health challenges. We go through breakup challenges. We go through losing a loved one. These are all masks that we wear and how we show up in life. And we can take them off one by one. Because it's not the mask that you wear that's important, it's who you are. Who you show up in life, how you show up. Do you show up as a person that's, oh, you don't know who I am, oh, you don't know what I went through, oh, if you really knew you wouldn't like me? Or do you go through in life and let me share what I experienced in life and where I am today? Do we reach out to friends and people that we know when we're sick? Do we ask for a helping hand? Or are we so proud that, oh no, I don't want anybody to know that I'm sick. I don't want anybody knowing, because they'll think that I'm not strong enough. Think about the things that we tell ourselves, the old monkey mind that keeps coming in and kind of conflicts things in our life. Sometimes when we go through the pain, we think life is tough. Or what did I do to deserve this? Why am I experiencing this? But you know, when we look at that and we can go to that place within and we can turn within and go into prayer, it all goes away. It all goes away because we're turning to that infinite presence of God that is within us. That almighty God that gives us the breath to breathe, the eyes to see, the ears to hear, the legs to walk. All of the challenges that we go through in life, it's how and what we put into that is how we experience life. So when I think, oh, I can't bend over and get that, I say, yes, you can. Get down there and bend over. That back isn't hurting as bad as you think. Let it go. Send the healing light there so that you can pick up that thing on the floor. And I do have trouble sometimes. I forget who I am as I tell myself. So what energy, whatever you say to yourself, whatever you put into your life, that's how you show up. I choose to be happy, whole and complete, and full of life, and live the age of 39 every single day. Because think about it. I mean, I have friends that are younger than me that look like they're 100 years old. And I think, come on my side, let's have some fun, let's dance. And they go, oh, I can't, my back is killing me. And I go, yes, you can. It's what you put into it and what you think about it. So we go to that healing light. So when I talk about the mask that we wear, I came across it reminded me of a saying that St. Francis, what he quoted, "That which you are looking for is that which is looking." That which you're looking for is that which is looking. It's how we look at life, right? How we see things every day. How we react to a situation. What we think about it. What we see is what manifests. So for myself personally, I chose a better way of living. I chose a way of believing that there's a higher power. I believe that the mask that we wear and how we show up every day in life, I can hide behind that mask. Or I can put the mask down and say, this is who I am. I am Reverend Linda Fisher, a minister. I believe in the power of prayer. I believe in healing. And I believe in love. That's who I am. It's not the mask that I wear. It's not standing up here on Sunday, because I live that 24/7. And I have never forgotten from the first time that I did a prayer, there is a God, and that God is within me. And when we can look at that, we can embrace that for ourselves. And even when we feel we're alone, we're never alone, because God is always with us, right? Right, I sure hope so. So what mask do you think that you will wear this Halloween? What mask do you think that you'll tell yourself? For me, I surrender to my higher self. Say that with me. I surrender to my higher self. Say it again. I surrender to my higher self. Take that with you this week. Embrace that. Take it into your heart. When things not going just so good, say, I surrender to my higher self. I know that power within me that I can go through anything. And always remember, love only, forgive everything, and remember who you are. Very, very powerful. Because when you can love only and forgive everything, past, present, and future, you can be that shining example. You can be the one to make a difference in somebody else's life. You can be the one to hold a person's hand and hold them in their heart, in your heart, and knowing that they are healed each and every day. So it's how we think and what we believe. We can endure, we can lick, we can go through the worst times ever. You know, I used to say years ago, when I was going through some challenges and things out, the world fell apart for me. I'll never live on the street. I'll never live in my car. No matter what I'm going through, God is there, and I know everything that I need, everything that I want, everything that empowers me is there. It was always there. I had the pleasure of going down to the Salvation Army. Well, I was a guest of Richard's down there. And I'll tell you, when I left there, I said, man, I am so rich. I am so blessed. There had to be 100 people that were feeding. And to see them come in with no jackets, no coats, barely shoes. They were wrapped in duct tape because they didn't have shoes around their feet. Young, old. I saw a man with a child as I was leaving. And I thought, how do people get to that point living on the street? I can't answer that. I can't answer why they're there and what's going on. I can only answer for myself. But I met some very powerful staff members that, that believed that they could make a huge difference in the world. And I spoke to them. I thought, well, maybe we can put a tree up or collect socks or maybe adopt a family. I don't know. I said, all depends on my congregation. But you know, it made me realize how lucky we are as Americans. How lucky we are living in a place. Because everywhere I go, I feel love. I see people smiling. Hello, good morning, how are you? Men opening doors. You know, well, let me get that for you. People can't do enough here in Washington. It's like, wow, I ain't never leaving. I'm not going back to California. I'm going to stay right here. There's too much love. There's so much of it. I want to put it in a box and keep it. But you know, it's, again, it's what mask are we wearing? What are we doing? How are we making a difference in the world? And when you love only, forgive everything, and remember who you are, we can move mountains together, and we can grow this church, because I know we are going to do that. So thank you. God bless you. Have an incredible week, and I'll see you next Sunday. Peace be with you.